Greetings, everyone. The South African Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Mtsoaledi, was on ENCA with Dr. JJ Thabane, talking about various issues around the issues of documentation. He touched on a number of issues, particularly following the interview that Dr. JJ Thabane had with the first Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Nomvula, with respect to the phrase which says South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. We have discussed this before. This speaks to the pan-Africanistic character of the African National Congress. But the discussion did not really unpack that other than what the minister said was that they are amending the Immigration and the Citizenship Act. You'll also remember that we discussed this when the proposals were put forward to the policy conference of the ANC and adopted by the ANC National Elective Conference in December 2022. So these proposed amendments are now before Parliament. Like I'm saying, we've dealt with those in this YouTube channel. But what was of interest, which of course, again, when Dr. JJ Thabane asked the minister, again, JJ Thabane had to divert from the question he had asked, not allowing the minister to then deal specifically with the issue of ZEP. They then discussed the issues of Zama Zama. So they didn't then have time to return back to the original question because Dr. JJ Thabane had asked the minister what about the court appeal that the minister has placed before the courts. So the minister was explaining that he had asked the holders of ZEP to apply for waivers because ordinarily a person will need to get a letter from the Department of Labor if they are to apply for a general work visa, which the majority of ZEP holders do not qualify. So the minister was saying because holders of Zimbabwe exemption permits are already in South Africa, I would assume, though like I'm saying, it did not really complete to deal with that issue. I would assume that the thinking was that you can't just throw out people that have been in South Africa for this long. Hence the need for people to apply for waivers so that they move from special dispensation to normal permits. Or what we call normal visas, so that people will then be able at some point, if this depending on what the new immigration will look like, would it then allow one then to apply for a permanent residence once they are on general work visa. But like I'm saying, the amendments are before Parliament, so it might not be possible. But under the current circumstances, it will be possible. But once the amendments are done, we would not know what this will mean. The minister also spoke of one thing which was of interest, which is of interest to us, the issue of deportation. He says they deport between 15 to 20,000 people annually to different countries. This is not for Zimbabwe, but deport people annually. He was then saying it's quite an expensive exercise because if you are deporting someone to DRC, to Ethiopia, you need government has to charter a plane to deport such people. Unlike us Zimbabweans, which or the rest of the SADC region, you just send us to the Beitbridge border post. If it's for Zimbabweans, Lesotho to their border post, Mozambique, Eswatini, and so forth. But so he was saying it's a costly exercise. So Based on the numbers that were given by the minister, there was no breakdown to say this country and this country, this country, this country. It's just a 15 to 20,000 number, which is not specific to any particular country. The other issue that is of interest is the issue of overstay, because the minister says since the border management guards that were deployed at the border, they've been able to uncover about 95,000 people that have overstayed, which were then declared undesirable. The person comes on a visit to South Africa, they do not go back, or they go back after the days that they've been given at the port of entry have expired. Thus then becomes an overstay. So what the minister said is that there is an appeal process which one can appeal the minister. If the minister is satisfied, if you provide proof on why you overstayed. He made an example to say someone might come to South Africa, is not maybe on a medical visa, but then while they are visiting, then they get to be admitted in a hospital to undergo treatment. Then their days lapses. If you provide such information, then the minister has powers to waiver such under such circumstances. But if you can't explain yourself why you overstayed in South Africa, then you are banned for life from coming to South Africa. That is, you cannot use your passport to come to South Africa. So these are some of the issues. Of course, the minister then spoke about the retirement visa as part of the amendments. What was of interest, what the minister was saying, was that the current retirement visa does not have age limits. So he was saying, while at the time the act was enacted, or this provision was put in place for people that want to retire, you can come and retire in South Africa, you apply for a retirement visa. But the system has been abused. The minister says they've uncovered a person who's 16 years old who's on a retirement visa. I think when this was done, the thinking was that a person who's above 65, retirement normally 65 years, then you can apply for a retirement visa to be in South Africa. But it says the system is being abused, so they are going to be amending that. And lastly, the issue of interest is the issue of the Refugees Act, because it says at the moment, under the current Refugees Act, no person should be denied entry into South Africa. Whether the person is a criminal or whatever, the person, once they come to South Africa or they are at the port of entry or arrive at the airport and they claim asylum, you cannot, according to the Refugees Act, you cannot turn that person back. So the minister says all that is before Parliament to amend also the Refugee Act, so that it then accept those that qualify to be in South Africa as asylum seekers, as refugees. So yeah, please, I know you might have watched the interview by the minister. Please share your views, write in the comment section. I am Ngabuto Nicholas Mabena. Please circulate this video, like the video, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you are on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, have a great day. Goodbye.